Luton Town story is incredible. They've gone from non-league football all the way to the Premier League. It's like career mode in real life. But now they face the daunting task of surviving in the world's best league. And the truth is, their team isn't all that impressive, nor do they have endless amounts of money like Man City. If I'm being honest, there's a big chance Luton Town find themselves unable to compete in the Premier League and get relegated down to the Championship. Well, I'm here to prevent that. I'm gonna become the manager of Luton Town, and my goal is to help Luton survive the Premier League. But not just that, I want more. If we can do things right, maybe, just maybe, we can make Luton Town one of the best clubs in England. Our journey begins now. It's our first day as Luton boss. Of course, we're starting things off by assessing the squad we've got. And honestly, I am surprised at how this team managed to get promotion. Because the truth is, this team is nowhere near good enough. Especially now that I think about it, surviving the Premier League with this side is going to be an absolute nightmare. I think our goal for the first season is clear: avoid relegation. We do have Adebayo up top, who looks like a striker that could do bits in the Premier League. Marvelous Nakamba, probably the best player in the team, and Lockyer at the back is pretty solid. But apart from that, this team needs so much work. But don't forget, we've just been promoted to the Premier League, which means that TV money is going to come through. Yes, guys, our budget for the first season is 50 million. That TV money is going to be clutch. With that 50 million, we've got so much work to do to build this squad to be able to just survive in the Premier League. The first thing I realized as Luton boss was that several of our top players like Marvelous Nakamba, Cody Drammer, they're all on loan deals, and we can't have that. We need to make them permanent signings if we want to get somewhere. And so we just spent 4 million to make Marvelous Nakamba a permanent deal, and we spent another 1 million making Cody Drammer signing a permanent deal as well. Just signing players we already had reduced our budget by like 5 million, which is super frustrating. But the truth is, we still can't make new signings because we've got more work to do, and that involves contracts. A lot of players in the club have their contracts expiring, and before we make new signings, we've got to address this. Thankfully, sorting all the contracts didn't really cost us all that much, and we still have 44 million left, and now we can focus on building a squad to survive the Premier League. The truth is, we need a goalkeeper, probably a couple of centre-backs as well, definitely a midfielder and an attacker. I feel like I've just named the entire squad. We could really do with a complete squad overhaul, but we're gonna need to prioritize. 44 million ain't gonna solve everything. After a bit of thinking, I think I've realized that one of the most important positions in the Premier League to especially survive is the goalkeeper position. If we don't have a reliable keeper, we're getting relegated. So let's solve that first. With Leeds United being relegated down to the Championship, it might be the time to strike. If we can sign Ilan Meslier from Leeds, that's our keeper position sorted. Although negotiating for Meslier is going to be an expensive affair, and we've got to be very careful with how much we spend. 16 million's my offer. They want 23.4. Already, this ain't looking good. Once again, I'm being as stingy as possible. 17.5 million, and finally, that works. Convincing Meslier was not difficult at all. He wanted to be back in the Premier League as well, and so, for 17.5 million, we've signed Meslier, and that's our goalkeeper position sorted. But there's still so much more to do. I think I'm going to continue targeting players from relegated Premier League clubs. Southampton went down, Salisu might want out, and we can take advantage of this. We need to do stuff like this if we're going to survive the Premier League. And so for just 10 million, we managed to sign Salisu, a talented centre-back. I think it's a brilliant deal for us. With the couple of transfers we've just made, we still have about 13 million left. But man, even with a centre-back and a goalkeeper signing, the team is still honestly not looking good enough to survive the Premier League. Who's going to get the goals for us? I'm really not convinced with our strike partnership. If we can somehow get a striker under about 13 million, that would be the dream. After a bit of scouting, I've just found Eddie Nketiah available within our budget. He plays for Arsenal. He scored goals for them as well in the Premier League. He might be the player we need that could keep us afloat in the Premier League. And so for just 8 million, Eddie Nketiah has made the move from Arsenal to, of course, Luton Town. We had to make Nketiah our highest paid player to convince him of our project, but I think it's going to be worth it. Even with the signing of Nketiah, I'm still not convinced we're going good enough to survive the Premier League. I reckon we gotta stick with the 5 at the back system because defensively, we need to be secure. I guess the only way we're gonna find out whether we're good enough to survive the Premier League is by getting the season underway. Here we go, Luton Town in the Premier League. This is historic. Within minutes, I realized that the Premier League is a completely different level. We were getting dominated. Thankfully, our new signing Melia was keeping us in the game. Ultimately, we had a golden chance with Nketiah, but he put it wide. And if you don't take your chances, Premier League clubs will punish you, as that's exactly what happened. Luton Town's first game in the Premier League ends in a 1-0 defeat. I really don't know if it's even possible to survive with this Luton Town team in the Premier League. We're gonna have to really work hard. Halfway through the season, we find Luton Town well and truly in the relegation scrap. Even though we're above Fulham, we've played a game more than everyone else, which means effectively we're probably in the relegation zone. The worst thing is we really can't even improve our team because look at this, we've literally got just 2 million in our bank. Is it impossible to survive in the Premier League with Luton Town? Are we gonna have to give up? Well, we need somebody to step up in the second half of the season to carry this team. Otherwise, we're getting relegated. Thankfully, in the second half of the season, Mohamed Salisu had decided to step things up. I don't know what changed, but he was now a rock at the back. But the truth is, to avoid relegation, it's not just our defense that needs to do the job. We need goals. Nketiah, that's brilliant. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. And it's against Sheffield United. We're fighting them for relegation, and Nketiah gets us the goal. Nketiah, once again, he's loving this angle, and he makes it work against Fulham. They might be going down because of this goal, but this might just keep us afloat in the Premier League. We've made it to the end of the season now. The question is whether Salisu and Nketiah have done enough to keep us alive in the Premier League. We're taking a look at this, and yes, guys, we finished 12th in the Premier League in our first season with Luton. Fulham, Sheffield going down. Nketiah probably caused that, but let's go. First season with Luton Town, we survive in the Premier League, and not just survive, wealth is awesome. I gotta say, without Nketiah scoring 26 goals this season, we wouldn't have survived. What a transfer. With Nketiah, Salisu, and Melia, I think we've got a rock-solid foundation. Next season, let's build on this and aim for maybe a top 10 finish. Luton Town are here to stay. It's now time for our second season of this Luton Town project. The threat of relegation is still there this season, but a lot less than before. We've built a great foundation with Nketiah, Salisu, Melia. If this season we can continue to invest, maybe a top half finish could be on the cards. 45 million is our budget for the season, slightly lesser than last season, but that's kind of expected. Based on how we played last season, I've kind of got a clear understanding of what players we need this season. Firstly, I think we need another centre-back. More defensive cover is needed. Salisu alone can't solve everything. Apart from that, we need a midfielder that can connect our attack and defense. So, yep, let's get to work. For the centre-back position, we go ahead and sign a player from Chelsea. It's Levi Colwill, a really good youngster with great potential, and we managed to get him for 8 million. With Colwill coming in, the defense looks a lot better. But the truth is, we could have spent more money on a centre-back because we've now got 35 million left. But the reason I didn't do that was I want a superstar midfielder. Well, you can't really call Joelinton a superstar, but I think he fits perfectly in what we're trying to build here. In the 5 at the back formation that we've got, a goal-scoring midfielder like Joelinton, bro, that's perfect. After some incredible negotiating, 29 million is what we're trying, but looks like we're gonna have to go down to 30 million. This could potentially be our last offer. 31 million. The question is, do we pull the trigger? I think we still negotiate and get it down to 30 million. Let's keep trying. Looks like we're gonna have to accept 31 million. There you go. And with that, we've pulled it off. Joelinton is joining Luton Town on a record-breaking transfer fee. This could be the transfer that takes Luton to the next level. We literally spent every bit of cash that we had to pull this off. And there you go. That's what our team looks like for the season ahead. We now have 2 players, Joelinton and Melia, above the overall of 80. Our team looks ready. The only way to find out whether we've made an improvement on the pitch is by getting started with our Premier League season. Last season on match day 1, we took an L, but back then we weren't ready for the Premier League. We are now. Joelinton getting in behind. This is perfect. That's exactly what he signed him for, to be a goal-scoring threat. Joelinton scores our first Premier League goal of this season. Yo, Joelinton is absolutely insane. He gets another one. He's a goal machine. And unlike last season where we took an L in our first Premier League game, this time around, Joelinton's brace gets us the dub. I've got a really good feeling about this season. The record-breaking transfer of Joelinton completely changed Luton Town. Not only was he getting the goals, but he was also assisting our strikers. Halfway through the season, we have made it to the top half of the table, 10th in the Premier League with 32 points. That is incredible. Of course, Joelinton from midfield is having an unbelievable season, but it's not just him. Nketiah stepped up big time once again. In fact, even new signing Levi Colville is growing incredibly well. If we can keep this up until the end of the season, Luton Town might just be able to secure a top half finish. The truth is, even though we're performing incredibly well, it still doesn't feel like we belong in the Premier League. That could change as we're heading to Stamford Bridge, and if we can get a result against them, if we can show that we belong with the big boys, we could not only just secure that top half finish, but mentally our spot in the Premier League. Instantly though, I realized the level of the big clubs in the Premier League. Chelsea on the attack already, and Pulisic scores. This is not the start I intended to have. No, Lautaro's through. Bang. Chelsea make it 2-0. The difference in level is crazy. This was a reality check. We went to Stamford Bridge to show that we belong in the Premier League. We belong with the big boys, but they just gave us a footballing lesson. Although we've done great work up until this point, there's still a lot more for us to achieve with Luton Town. We end the season finishing 10th in the Premier League. Yes, we do secure a top half finish. And look at our team as well. Players like Melier, Salisu, Joelinton and Nketiah, they're looking fantastic now. They've grown so much. We've built a fantastic foundation, and I can't help but feel next season I want to take the fight to the big boys. We're coming for top 6 next season. Heading into our third season with Luton Town, I think I'm confident that this season we shouldn't really be in a relegation scrap. It's time to be looking upwards. We finished 10th last season, but we weren't really able to compete with the big boys. This season, I want that to change. We need to try and push for the top 6, top 7 finish and keep the momentum going. But to do that, we're gonna have to invest in our squad. Don't get me wrong, we've got Salisu, Levi Colville, Joelinton, Nketiah, Adebayo, a really good team. But to compete with the likes of Manchester United, City, Liverpool, we need more. It's time to find out what kind of backing the board are giving us for this season. 48 million? That isn't too bad, you know. We'll absolutely take that. Last season, we improved our midfield by bringing in Joelinton, and the change in our team was unbelievable. And this season, I'm thinking, let's make our midfield rock solid. And so to start things off, we signed Sean Longstaff from Newcastle United for just 16 million. This is a steal. Not gonna lie, the quality and experience Longstaff brings to the club is brilliant. He's 80 rated, 26 years old. This is what we need. The time has come to replace Nakamba. As marvelous as he is, we need someone better to hold the fort for us. We have about 27 million, and I think we're going to use every penny to make that happen. No way, this could be perfect. Calvin Phillips' contract's expiring. This would be the perfect signing. At Man City, doesn't get the game time. At Luton Town, he'd be a leader for us. But to sign him, even with that contract expiring, I think we'll need to generate some funds. The club clear-out had begun. We were offloading the fringe players of our squad. And finally, with all the player sales, it looked like we had enough money to go for Calvin Phillips. This could legit be one of the biggest transfers we'll ever make. Oh my god, I'm still nervous. Can we even pull this off? I'm gonna start with a 25 million offer. His contract's expiring. It might just be good enough. Come on, Pep Guardiola. They've countered with 27 million. Pep wants his money, but I think we can agree with 27 million. Let's get this done with. There you go. I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about the contract negotiations. I think we're gonna have to make him one of the highest paid players at the club. 77,000 per week. That's his demand. I think this contract will make him the highest paid player at the club. We're accepting it. It's done. Calvin Phillips is joining Luton Town. And would you look at that? Calvin Phillips is indeed the highest paid player at the club. Every season, it feels like we're squeezing everything out of our transfer budget. This season, Calvin Phillips, Longstaff coming in. I think the team is ready. Our midfield with new signings Calvin Phillips and Longstaff, and also Joelinton, was absolutely world class. Honestly, guys, the difference in our midfield now feels absolutely ridiculous. We're moving the ball around so much better, and that is resulting in more chances and possibly more goals. there you go. I'm telling you, this midfield is crazy. For the first time, Luton were controlling and dominating games. And would you believe it, halfway through the season, Luton Town are 4th. If this goes on, we could be in the Champions League next season. The decision to invest in our midfield before anything else has been absolutely clutch. Because when you've got the ball, there isn't much the other team can do. We've made it to almost the end of the season where we're still 4th in the league with 67 points. But we've got Manchester United right behind us at 66. This is our chance to prove that we belong with the big boys in the Premier League. We're yet to get a famous win against the big teams. This is our chance. If we beat Manchester United here at the Kenilworth Road Stadium, we're going to Champions League football next season. Both teams were playing for a spot in the Champions League. This game was intense. Man United with a chance. No, this is bad. Melia with the big save. Here goes Longstaff. We've broken through. Proper chance here. Cross to the back post. This could be it. No, cleared away. Even though Man United put us under a lot of pressure, this was our chance to create history. Levi Colwill, our centre-back, inside for Joe Linton. It's brilliant. We've taken the lead against Manchester United. A historic moment for Luton Town. It's time for a bit of Nketiah magic. Can he get his goal? Yes, he can. We're coming for Champions League football. And yes, guys, we've managed to beat Manchester United to that top 4 spot. We're heading for the Champions League next season. In just 3 seasons, we've transformed Luton Town from a relegation-threatened club all the way now to the Champions League. But the job's not done yet though. Next season, I feel like we might have a chance to win the league title. Also, over 70% of you guys watching my videos haven't subscribed. We're trying to hit 800,000 subscribers, and if you guys could help me out, that would be awesome. Season 4 with Luton Town. I genuinely believe with a couple of improvements, we can challenge for the Premier League title. This season, we're in the Champions League as well, and that means we're gonna get that TV money coming through, and there you go, our biggest budget ever, 82 million. If we invest that money right, I reckon we've got a team that maybe has an outside chance of winning the Premier League. Okay, so there are 2 positions where I think if we can get in big players, we should be sorted. One is a centre-back. Don't get me wrong, Lockyer has been a legend, and because of him, we're in the position we are. He's been absolutely incredible. Don't judge him by his overall. But if we want to compete with the very best, we need to move to the next level. Apart from the centre-back position, we need a better goal scorer as well. Adebayo, I think he's reached his limit. We need to give Nketiah a better strike partner. Starting with the centre-back position, Manuel Akanji would just be perfect. He's got the intelligence. He's played for Man City, so he knows how to win Premier League titles. If we can get him for a good deal, that could leave us with good cash to bring in a striker as well. Negotiations are going to be tricky, but I want to keep this under 30 million, and yes, 27 million for Akanji. That seems like a steal. And so for just 27 million, we've signed a Premier League winner in Manuel Akanji. With our defense now sorted, it's time to bring in a striker. The truth is, the perfect striker to win trophies is Erling Haaland, but we sadly can't afford him. But we can afford the next Erling Haaland in Rasmus Højlund from Denmark. He's 6'2", left-footed, very similar in stats, got that physicality, and I reckon he's going to be the perfect strike partner for Nketiah. This could be a signing that wins us the Premier League, because I'm sure he's going to bring in the goals for us. So let's see, how much do we have to spend to bring him in? 38 million is my first offer. And wow, we've just been kicked out. This is not going to be easy. We received a couple of million extra from season ticket sales. Maybe that's going to help us sign him. This time, my first offer itself is going to be 41 million. Hopefully it works, and they want Levi Colwill. No way I'm giving away one of my star centre-backs. We'll counter with 42 million, but this is proving to be extremely difficult. But finally, 42 million works. And there you have it. We've convinced Rasmus Højlund to join Luton Town. This is a record-breaking transfer for the club, and it's a signing that could help us win the Premier League title. With that signing, not much cash left, and this is basically the team we've got to try and mount a title challenge with. And honestly, I'm pretty convinced that this team is capable of getting the job done. It's now time for us to experience Champions League football for the first time ever. We received a pretty difficult group with Juventus and Real Betis. Luton Town in the Champions League against Juventus. Who would have thought? This could be the first time ever we score in the Champions League. New signing, Holland goes for it. He scores. That is the first ever goal that Luton Town have scored in the Champions League. A historic moment. We made it out of our Champions League group, but it was super difficult. But our journey in the Champions League came to an end when and Wolfsburg knocked us out. This was a reality check. We're not ready yet to win the Champions League. Maybe next season. Even though we're out of the Champions League, I told you, this season we're going for that Premier League title, and after 28 games, we're right there. We're in the mix for the title. 66 points, 1 point behind Chelsea. New signing Holland has been lighting up the Premier League. We've now got just the Premier League to focus on, and we continue to win games and put pressure on Chelsea. And so it all comes down to this, the final match day of the Premier League, where we're 1 point above Chelsea. All we need to do is win our final Premier League game of the season, and we'll be champions of England. All the chances, but the ball wasn't hitting the back of the net. It was looking like this was not going to be our day. But then a magical moment from a special player. Joel Linton, you absolute legend. Joel Linton, oh my word, what a goal. A goal that could win us the Premier League title. It's done, guys. We've made Luton Town Premier League winners, non-league football, all the way to the Premier League title. This is incredible. Honestly, the squad we've built is absolutely amazing. I'm not surprised we pulled this off, and it took us only 4 seasons. But I don't think the story is over just yet. Remember how Wolfsburg knocked us out of the Champions League? Nah, we can't end on that. We owe it to this Luton side that we've built one more attempt to win the Champions League. And here we are, Season 5, giving it one attempt to try and win the Champions League. Our team is incredible. Like, it's crazy how we've managed to build a team like this. Of course, it's involved signing a ton of amazing players, but also we've built up youngsters like Doty and Drama to a level where now they're first-team players. The board are backing us with 150 million, and I think I can use that to make our first mega signing. It's time we bring in one of the world's best players, and that for me is Jude Bellingham. If we can sign Bellingham and have him in our midfield, that is a statement. But signing one of the world's best midfielders is not going to be easy at all. Negotiations are going to be tough, but if we can pull this off, instantly it's a statement to everyone in the Champions League that we're ready. Let's start with 120 million for Bellingham. And that's actually worked because his contract was expiring, so it was the perfect time to strike Jude Bellingham. We still need to convince him about our project. So far, so good. He's willing to sign a long-term deal with us, and we're going to offer him a mega contract because this is going to be the only signing we make this season. Let's offer him 160,000, a bit of a wage cut, but I reckon he'll value coming back to England, playing for Luton Town. He wants his signing bonus. Dunzo, we've pulled it off. Jude Bellingham, welcome to Luton Town. The signing of Bellingham not only takes our midfield to the next level, it also adds squad depth because now we can have long staff available whenever we need them. The thing is, we still have 21 million left, but instead of signing a player, I'm going to use that money to give new contracts to a lot of our players because they absolutely deserve it. Look at Joe Linton out here getting a mega contract. We're not making any more signings. This is the team we've built, and this is the team, hopefully, with which we can win the Champions League. Unlike last season, this time we actually managed to top our Champions League group. And I gotta say, Jude Bellingham was absolutely dominating for us. Him and Joe Linton in that midfield, oh boy, things are looking sorted for us. But this is where things get crazy for us. We've drawn Barcelona in the round of 16. Is our dream of winning the Champions League gonna get crushed? No way, guys. We've built such an amazing team. We're ready to knock out a team like Barcelona. First leg, let's see what happens. It's a 1-all draw. Everything rests on that second leg. We're only giving it one shot at the Champions League. We cannot lose this. No freaking way. Let's go. Nketiah scores the goal. We move on to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, we had Napoli, but we somehow made it through. We're now in the semifinals, and looks like we've gotten lucky because Villarreal is the team we're facing. Let's get the job done. First leg against Villarreal. If we can get a good advantage, we could be in the Champions League final. No, it ends in a draw. Villarreal have got Karim Adeyemi. This ain't gonna be easy. It all comes down to this for Luton Town. If we can beat Villarreal, we'll be in a Champions League final. This is it, the moment of truth. And yes, it's Joel Linton, the hero of this video. He scores the goal. We're through to a Champions League final. One more game from eternal glory. And of course, course, it is Real Madrid who we're facing in this Champions League final. It just had to be them. I've asked this team for a lot and they've delivered me Premier League titles and more, but now I'm asking them for one more performance to try and win the Champions League. Honestly, look at the growth of everyone. Totti, Drama, they've all grown so well, especially our backline. Joel Linton up to an 88 overall. Nketiah has touched 90. Nah, we can't lose. We've got to win the Champions League. One last game and that is what we're playing for. Fede Valverde with the first chance. Meslier forced to make a save almost instantly. Real Madrid are brutal and Meslier forced to make a save again, and we just about cleared the ball away. The pressure Real Madrid were putting us under was unbelievable, and towards the end we succumbed to it. Corner for Real Madrid. They're dangerous in these situations. No! Jota scores. Madrid take the lead. Half-time in the Champions League final, and I genuinely don't know if Luton Town can win this. Madrid, they're just so much better. They've got the history as well. Jude Bellingham as well hasn't been able to do much. This is a problem. What do we do? Things weren't looking good for us, but one thing's for sure, this Luton Town team never gives up. Somebody needs to step up, and it might be Jude Bellingham. Yes, indeed it is. What a cross and what a header. We're back in the game. Of course, it's our superstar signing that gets it done in the key moment. With the scoreline at 1-1, this game was getting intense. Whoever scores the next goal is going to win the trophy. Joel Linton. Lovely ball for Nketiah. Could he have one more big moment for his club? Nketiah bringing it inside. Still Nketiah. No, saved by the keeper. That was it. It's all over. If only Nketiah converted that chance. We're taking this game to extra time. We're now in extra time. Both teams are tired. The club that wants it more is going to win it. A lovely run being made by Drama. We might have a chance here. Jude Bellingham once again. He's done it. A brilliant run from Bellingham. Our superstar signing worth more than 120 million has paid off in the biggest game in the club's history. We're on the verge of winning the Champions League. Although I said the next goal was probably going to be the decider, there is still a lot of time for Madrid to get that equalizer. We've got to be alert. Just as I was ready to celebrate the Champions League trophy, Real Madrid do what they always do. Madrid with a chance. No, 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 no. It's Real Madrid. They always find a way. Both teams are looking prepared for penalties, but could there be one more moment? I don't want this game to go to penalties because you just know Madrid's going to win it, but no, no way. Holland has done it. Holland has done it in the 120th minute. We might have just won the Champions League out of nowhere. No freaking way. That's it. It's done. Luton Town have won the Champions League from non-league football all the way to the Champions League trophy. Absolutely incredible. In all of my years of building teams in career mode, I think this is one of my favorite teams ever. Like the signings we made, lifting the Champions League trophy in the end. It's genuinely been special. If you enjoyed this journey with Luton Town, I'm sure you'll enjoy me creating my own club and becoming the world's best club owner. Click here to watch that.